Hello, and welcome to Spoken Poetry. This video's poet will be Samuel Coleridge. Coleridge, the Romantic Renaissance man, was a literary critic, poet, and philosopher. It's common knowledge that he began the Romantic movement within England with his longtime friend and poet laureate, William Wordsworth. Like many of his contemporaries, Coleridge considered himself a loner and a bit of an isolationist at a young age. Rather than playing sports or attending events, he sat within the confines of his room and read to himself. The poet is also well known for his differing poetic elements contrary to those who have come before, effecting a style that seemed more conversational and personal, with many written to his wife. The transcendentalists, such as Thoreau and Emerson, were greatly influenced by his writing, as well as Mary Shelley, author of Frankenstein, and C.S. Lewis, author of the famous Chronicles of Narnia series. While Coleridge is most famous for his poem, The Rime of the Ancient Mariner, this poem will not be narrated at this time, but at a later date due to length. Samuel Coleridge died in 1834 at the age of 61. What is life? Resembles life what once was held of light, too ample in itself for human sight? An absolute self, an element ungrounded, all that we see, all colors of all shade, by encroach of darkness made? Is very life by consciousness unbounded? And all the thoughts, pains, joys of mortal breath, a warm embrace of wrestling life and death. The Aeolian Harp. My pensive Sarah, thy soft cheek reclined, thus on mine arm most soothing sweet it is, to sit beside our cot overgrown, with white flowered jasmine and the broad-leaved myrtle. Meet emblems they of innocence and love, and watch the clouds that late were rich with life, slow saddening round, and mark the star of eve. Serenely brilliant, such should wisdom be, shine opposite. How exquisite the sense, snatched from yon bean field, and the world so hushed! The stilly murmur of the distant sea tell us of silence, and that simplest lute, placed lengthwise in the clasping casement, hark! How by the desultory breeze caressed, like some coy maid half yielding to her lover, it pours such sweet upbraiding as must needs tempt to repeat the wrong, and now it strings. Boldly are swept the long cacacious notes, over delicious surges sink and rise, such a soft floating witchery of sound, as twilight elfins make when they at eve voyage on gentle gales from fairyland, where melodies round honey-dropping flowers, footless and wild, like birds of paradise, nor pause nor perch, hovering on untamed wing. Oh, the one life within us and abroad, which meets all motion and becomes its soul, a light and sound, a sound-like power and light, rhythm in all thought, and joyance everywhere. Methinks it should have been impossible not to love all things in a world so filled, where the breeze warbles and the mute still air is music slumbering on her instrument. And thus, my love, as on the midway slope of yonder hill I stretch my limbs at noon, whilst through my half-closed eyelids I behold the sunbeams dance like diamonds on the main, and tranquil muse upon tranquillity. Full many a thought uncalled and undetained, and many idle flitting fantasies, traverse my indolent and passive brain, as wild and various as the random gales that swell and flutter on this subject lute. And what if all of animated nature be but organic harps diversely framed, that tremble into thought as over them sweeps plastic and vast one intellectual breeze, at once the soul of each and God of all. But thy more serious eye a mild reproof darts, O beloved woman, nor such thoughts dim and unhallowed dost thou not reject, and biddest me walk humbly with my God, meek daughter in the family of Christ. Well hast thou said, and holily dispraised, these shapings of the unregenerate mind bubbles that glitter as they rise and break. On vain philosophies I babbling spring, for never guiltless may I speak of him, the incomprehensible, save when with awe I praise him, and with faith that inly feels, who with his saving mercies healed me, a sinful man and most miserable man, wildered and dark, and gave me to possess peace and this cot and thee, heart-honored maid. Despair. I have experienced the worst the world can wreak on me, the worst that can make life indifferent yet disturb. With whispered discontent's dying prayer, I have beheld the whole of all, wherein my heart had any interest in this life. To be disrent and torn from off my hopes, that nothing now is left. Why then live on? That hostage which the world had in its keeping, given by me as a pledge that I would live. That hope of her, say rather that pure faith, in her fixed love which held me to keep truce, the tyranny of life is gone. Ah, whither? What boots it to reply? 'Tis gone. And now, well may I break this pact, this league of blood, that ties me to myself, and break I shall. Frost at midnight. The frost performs its secret ministry, unhelped by any wind. The owlet's cry came loud, and hark, again, loud as before. The inmates of my cottage, all at rest, have left me to that solitude, which suits abstruser musings, save that at my side my cradled infant slumbers peacefully. 'Tis calm indeed, so calm that it disturbs, and vexes meditation with its strange and extreme silentness. Sea, hill, and wood, this populous village, sea and hill and wood, with all the numberless going-ons of life. Inaudible as dreams, the thin blue flame lies on my low-burnt fire, and quivers not. Only that film which fluttered on the grate still flutters there, the sole unquiet thing. Methinks its motion in this hush of nature gives its dim sympathies with me who live, making it a companionable form, whose puny flaps and freaks the idling spirit by its own moods interprets, everywhere echo or mirror seeking of itself, and makes the toy of thought. But oh, how oft at school with most believing mind, presageful have I gazed upon the bars, to watch that fluttering stranger, and as oft with unclosed eyes, already had I dreamt of my sweet birthplace in the old church tower, whose bells, the poor man's only music, rang from morning to evening all the hot fair day, so sweetly that they stirred and haunted me with a wild pleasure falling on mine ear, most like articulate sounds of things to come. So gazed I, till the soothing things I dreamt lulled me to sleep, and sleep prolonged my dreams. And so I brooded all the following morn, awed by the stern preceptor's face, mine eye fixed with mock studying on my swimming book, save if the door half opened, and I snatched a hasty glance, and still my heart leaped up, for still I hoped to see the stranger's face, townsman or aunt or sister more beloved, my playmate when we were both were clothed alike. Dear babe, that sleepest cradled by my side, whose gentle breathings, heard in this deep calm, fill up the interspersed vacancies and momentary pauses of the thought. My babe, so beautiful it thrills my heart with tender gladness, thus to look at thee, and think that thou shalt learn far other lore, and in far other scenes. For I was reared in the great city, pent mid cloisters dim, and saw not lovely but the sky and stars. But thou, my babe, shalt wander like a breeze, by lakes and sandy shores, beneath the crags of ancient mountain, and beneath the clouds, which image in their bulk both lakes and shores and mountain crags. So shalt thou see, and hear the lovely shapes and sounds intelligible of that eternal language which thy God utters, who from eternity doth teach himself in all, and all things in himself. Great universal teacher, he shall mold thy spirit, and by giving make it ask. Therefore all seasons shall be sweet to thee, whether the summer clothe the general earth with greenness, or the red breast sit and sing betwixt the tufts of snow on the bare branch of mossy apple tree, while the nigh thatch smokes in the sun thaw, whether the eavesdrops fall, heard only in the trances of the blast, or if the secret ministry frost shall hang them up in silent icicles, quietly shining to the quiet moon. The dungeon. And this place our forefathers made for man. This is the process of our love and wisdom. To each poor brother who offends against us, most innocent perhaps, and what if guilty? Is this the only cure? Merciful God, each poor and natural outlet shriveled up by ignorance and parching poverty, his energies roll back upon his heart, and stagnate and corrupt, till changed to poison. They break out on him like a loathsome plague spot. Then we call in our pampered mountebanks, and this is their best cure? Uncomforted and friendless solitude, groaning and tears and savage faces at the clanking hour, seen through the steam and vapors of his dungeon. By the lamp's dismal twilight, so he lies, circled with evil, till his very soul unmolds its essence, hopelessly deformed by sights of ever more deformity. With other ministrations thou, O nature, healest thy wandering and distempered child. Thou pourest on him thy soft influences, thy sunny hues, fair forms, and breathing sweets, thy melodies of woods and winds and waters, till he relent and can no more endure, to be a jarring and a dissonant thing, amid this general dance and minstrelsy, but, bursting into tears, wins back his way, his angry spirit healed and harmonized, by the benign touch of love and beauty. Kubla or Kublai Khan. In Xanadu did Kubla Khan a stately pleasure dome decree, where Alf the sacred river ran, through caverns measureless to man, down to his sunless sea, so twice 5 miles of fertile ground, with walls and towers were gilded round, and there were gardens bright with sinuous rills, where blossomed many an incense-bearing tree, and here were forests ancient as the hills, enfolding sunny spots of greenery. But oh, that deep romantic chasm which slanted down the green hill athwart a Sidarn cover, a savage place, as holy and enchanted as ever beneath the waning moon was haunted by a woman wailing for her demon lover, and from this chasm, with ceaseless turmoil seething, as if this earth in fast thick pants were breathing, a mighty fountain momentarily was forced, amid whose swift half-intermittent burst, huge fragments vaulted like rebounding hail, or chaffy grain beneath the thresher's flail, and amid these dancing rocks at once and ever, it flung up momently the sacred river, 5 miles meandering with a mazy motion. Through wood and dale the sacred river ran, then reached the caverns measureless to man, and sank in tumult to a lifeless ocean. And amid this tumult, Kubla heard from far ancestral voices prophesying war. The shadow of the dome of pleasure floated midway on the waves, where was heard the mingled measure from the fountain and the caves. It was a miracle of rare device, a sunny pleasure dome with caves of ice. A damsel with a dulcimer, in a vision once I saw. It was an Abyssinian maid, and on her dulcimer she played, singing of Mount Abora. Could I revive within me her symphony and song, to such a deep delight 'twould win me, that with music loud and long, I would build that dome in air, that sunny dome, those caves of ice, and all who heard should see them there, and all should cry, beware, beware. His flashing eyes, his floating hair, weave a circle round him thrice, and close your eyes with holy dread, for he on honey dew hath fed, and drunk the milk of paradise. The end.